Heyo, my Planet Coaster friends, Johnny5 Alive here, and I'm very excited to announce the next Channel 5 Gaming Planet Coaster contest. So this is inspired by Riddler Revenge. He helped me plan this contest. Lauren helped put together the document as always. Thank you so much, Lauren, and thank you, Riddler. So this is the Channel 5 Gaming Movie Coaster Contest, and this is featuring coaster blueprints. Now, we've actually never done a coaster blueprint contest other than the Boomerang. So this is our first legitimate 4K coaster contest, and it's themed around movies. Now, don't just read the title and make stuff, guys. We need to get into this. We need to talk about this. So for this contest, we want to see exciting coasters themed around your choice of a movie, and most importantly, they must be in the form of a placeable 4K blueprint. Thus, the focus of this contest will be on designing the coaster with a compact footprint, fitting a lot of detail in a small space, and having scenery-filled queues and priority pass lanes, all while achieving good stat ratings for the guests to enjoy. So this contest was inspired by our resident legend, Riddler Revenge 75, who is one of our legends at making compact 4K blueprints. So one thing I want to mention before we go deeper into it, guys, this movie coaster contest is not a storytelling contest. We're straying away from that. We're looking for the theme, not a story. So don't try and tell us the story of Back to the Future. Don't try and tell us the story of Thor. Look at the elements that make those things stand out. Find the characteristics, the iconic signs, and different things. Like if you're doing a Hulk coaster, you maybe build a giant Hulk and he's ripping the coaster in half, or he's holding it up and he's the supports, and there's a big sign that says the Hulk, and maybe the color of your track is purple and green. Use the colors, use the characteristics, use the iconic things that make that movie come to life, or that make that movie recognizable, and use those elements to create your 4K blueprint. So if you want to kind of tell a story as you go, you can do that. Triggered events, different things. If you want to take core elements from the movie and incorporate it into your ride, that is going to add to the impressiveness to it, but that should not be your focus. Your focus should make it look iconic. We want to look at it. If I open it up and I can't tell it's a Hulk coaster, you haven't done it right. So keep that stuff in mind, and also try and keep in mind what movie you're picking. If it's a movie that nobody's aware of, it's going to be hard for us to judge it. So, try to stay within the realm of the next gen kind of titles and movies, and try to hit something that at least one of the three judges will be able to say, yeah, he did a good job. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Let's move on. And I also have some examples to show you guys, so be sure to stay to the end. So contest rules, we are going to be riding these in test mode, guys. They will be blueprints, not park files this time, and we're just going to download all the blueprints. We're going to plop them down, and that's it. We're just going to plop them down, and we're going to go into test mode. But I will do like a 360 camera. We'll look at things, because this contest is about the details, the decorations, hitting that 4K limit, and taking a little bit of a look at the queue and stuff. So you're going to have little outlines for where your queue should be, and we're going to be able to recognize where the path was intended to go. But we're not going to be setting up paths. We're not going to be letting in guests. We're putting your ride down. We're going to spin the camera around. We're going to take a look at some of the details. Then we're going to test it. We're going to spend about a minute or two looking at the design, and then we're going to ride it. So that's kind of how things are going to be judged this time around. And I'm hoping this time what we're going to do is add in a tell us about your movie coaster section to the submission form that has yet to be created. And yeah, you're going to be able to tell us about it, and we'll read it off before we jump on it this time. I felt like something was missing with the last contest, and I do like a little bit of an introduction. So this contest will run until I have not put it down. Let's go for the 1st, December 1st. We're going to be judging Saturday. Yeah, either the 30th or the 1st. So you have till the end of the month, December 1st. There you guys go. You have a whole month to work on this contest. Pretty lengthy. All the standard stuff, guys. 1 submission per person. Upload date must be between now until at the contest end date. So if your workshop blueprint was uploaded or updated anytime before this date or after this date, it's a DQ. A submission must be in the form of a 4K blueprint. No park files, guys. No park files. You must use a coaster for this blueprint. No track rides, no go-karts or anything are allowed. You can use go-karts or tracks and things like that for decorating, but no additional stations. So if you just want to use a track like a log flume for a little river or whatever, we always allow that. You may use billboards. Specify the files in the submission form as well as on your Steam page. Please put the files in your Steam page on a Dropbox or Google Drive. No copyright videos or content is allowed as always, and that includes audio as well. You may use sequencers, you may use fireworks, we encourage no collision, no friction hacks are allowed, and you may use any of the DLC or all of it, and judges may not participate. So moving on to judging, guys, we have a whole bunch of things to rank this. So it's going to be a tight competition based off of the spread of points, and the points are worth less, but there's more categories this time around. So artistry, this is your detail, how much artwork you put into the blueprint. Your theme, how did you nail that theme of the movie? Does the Hulk look like the Hulk? Are your track colors matching? Do you have a beautiful sign? You know, all that stuff. How well did you theme your movie ride? The footprint is pretty important, and this means, I'll give some examples of this when we move over to the examples. It's the compact nature of it, and is it all fenced in? Does it look nice? Is it tight? Or is it like spread out with a whole bunch of gaps and holes everywhere, and it's not very filled? But we're looking to see it where you can plop it down and fit it in a park nicely. Track and coaster design, it's pretty important. Could ride have good stats? And is it smooth? Does it feel like a good coaster experience? And to top that off, you might want to choose a coaster train that is appropriate to the theme of your ride. So if you're doing some sort of Wild West movie, maybe you want to use the actual train. And if you're doing a Superman movie, you might want to use a flying coaster. So just kind of keep that stuff in mind, guys. We'll be thinking about that in terms of what coaster you used and was it smart. Queue design. Riddler always has such nice queues. We want you guys to see your queues well integrated into the blueprint. Tons of sceneries to go with it. Also is preferred to have a priority pass, but depending on the queue layout, we will judge accordingly. So try and include a decorative queue, fences, gardens, waterfalls, fountains, whatever you can come up with, or maybe depending on what movie you are, you're passing by billboards, different signs, or scenery that comes from that movie. So keep that stuff in mind and try and sneak in a priority pass. Those are always nice to have on coasters. So a bonus 4K, 1 point. You can achieve 1 point per judge if you max out the blueprint limit. That means if you hit exactly 4K, you're getting 3 additional points overall between all the judges. That could actually be the difference of winning. So if you're at 3,999 pieces, guys, just put down an extra shrub, because that'll get you 3 more points, and without cheesy methods like excessive duplication. So if we find this little thing that's like a cluster of 100 bushes, we're not giving you that. So do it wisely. So 20 points per judge for a total of 60 points, guys, spread out throughout multiple elements. This is actually going to make it a little bit easier for us to judge, and the winner is going to pop out naturally. We probably won't have any debating to do, most likely, because we have such a variety of points to give out, and it should be a pretty tight competition. And then the prizes, guys, we have a Steam list. As always, it's always growing, it's getting bigger, and there's going to be tons of fun games on there for you to pick from. So let's give you guys some examples. So first up, Ragnarok, Thor vs. Loki, which you guys saw on Riddler Week just a week or so ago, by Riddler Revenge 75. He's done this in the theme of Thor and Loki, as you can see in the screenshot. He's got a hammer, and it's got the Thor colors. He's got a staff. He's got lightning that shoots down the hammer, and some effects that come out of the staff as well. And he's colored one side of the coaster with red lights and the other one with green for Loki. Colors are there. There's the symbols, and it's a traditional wooden coaster, but he's really used the colors, and he's even had some custom billboards and different things in there to kind of top it off a little bit. You can see the little queue here for Loki and some little symbols and stuff there. A hammer for Thor here for the queue. just subtle little touches, and it's a pretty good example, but I still think people could push it a lot further. Another example here from Riddler Revenge is the war rig from Mad Max, the War for Oil and Water. This was absolutely amazing. You could find it on my channel, just type it in. It was featured almost a year ago. There was like 10 miles of track in here or something, but there's tons of explosions. I think he had a war rig in here. He had explosions. I mean, it's post-apocalyptic. It represents Mad Max, has the vibe of Mad Max, skulls, everything's, you know, made out of scaffold and very post-apocalyptic feeling, oil, fire, you name it, and has all the elements that goes into a Mad Max movie. So the one thing this one for me could use is a gigantic Mad Max sign, and now that you guys can do those billboards, you can kind of build lettering over a billboard and get the actual logo perfectly in a 3D basic shape design. So that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. Get that sign for your ride perfect. Another example here is Wasteland Rumble Post-Apocalyptic RMC by Combat Wombat. This one is kind of like Mad Max again. It says Wasteland Rumble. If you would have made a big giant Mad Max sign here, you could have gotten away with it, because he actually did a war rig that looks pretty much like the one from Mad Max. There's a kind of a shot there. It has like the music guy and all the pipes and stuff. It's a little bit different, but it's pretty close. If you know, at a first glance, you could be like, oh yeah, that's a war rig, and it has all the post-apocalyptic theming. So another great example there. This one, this was a book, I believe, but it might have been turned into a movie. 3,000 Leagues Under the Sea, created by Zayfor. Another compact, great blueprint creation here. And it has all the sci-fi things, and then you go under the sea, I believe, at some point in this one. The only thing that this might need is a big sign or something that represents the movie a little bit, or the book. This sign is a little bit basic. This one here, Heart of the Darkness, is a little questionable. I'm not sure. I thought it was a movie. I'm still not 100%. But if it is, and the movie has booby traps, and it's in tropical area, and it has all that theming, this seems like it would fit the bill. And this is also made by Zayfor. And then one more for you guys, the motion picture coaster. Now this one isn't exactly a theme, like it's not an actual movie, but it's kind of like a bunch of movies. It's movie studios. And he has like he takes you on a tour through all these different themes. Now this one is not what we're looking for per se. Like if you were to build this, it probably wouldn't win, but I think what has is the elements that are really cool. Like you go between the movie sets and stuff like that, and you pass through different elements of the movie sets, and you know, if you dress it up a certain way or sold it a certain way and did it like this, you could kind of sell me that we're in the behind the scenes of the making of the Incredible Hulk. So I was just using this as an example so you guys could, you know, come look at it and take a look for yourself and see what kind of elements were used in this coaster, and then kind of push the movie vibe a little bit further. But it looks like they're building Pirates of the Caribbean in here, and they're making some snow movie or Christmas movie, and they're making a horror film over here, and I think there's a lot of elements that go into making this coaster pretty cool. So there's a few examples for you guys, but I don't feel like any of these examples really push the limits of what we're looking for. Like I said, try to build those big signs out of basic shapes. You know, maybe integrate certain characters from the movies. Use the track colors. Remember, you can color segments of your tracks. So maybe it's one part it's this color and one part it's that color. As I suggested to Riddler for his Loki versus Thor, maybe he could have colored the wooden supports green and yellow for the daytime, but he chose to do the lighting to color it for nighttime. So something for you guys to think about there, and you know, how you're going to use your colors, your signage, and the characteristics and the iconic things that make that pop, so we can recognize it right away by just looking at it. So take these ideas, take a look at them. Links will be down in the description below for these, and try to push that and elaborate on that further to accentuate the movie of your choice, while also keeping in mind what kind of coaster you're going to be using. So there you go, guys. That's the movie coaster contest, our first ever real 4K coaster blueprint contest. It's going to be a tough one. 4K blueprints are difficult to do. It's difficult to fill up those pieces, or to not have enough pieces. So be very careful, play around with your track design, play around with your space, practice a little bit, try and build a few elements of your movie that you think that are going to be iconic pieces. Build those pieces and try and fit them in around your track and build from there and fill and fill and fill and fill. It's going to take a little bit of wiggle room. There's plenty of people in the Discord channel that are really good at making these coaster blueprints, guys, and I'm sure they're willing to help you guys out, give you a little bit of advice along the way. And everyone's going to be kind of sharing their ideas and their struggles and stuff. So it's always a good time to be in Discord, sharing your screenshots, showing your progress, getting people's thoughts and opinions. Gets everybody talking and excited about the contest. So I'm sure you guys will figure it out. It's going to be a tough one, and I would have to say definitely our hardest challenge yet, with the most parameters yet. Excited to see the screenshots you guys take, and I'm excited to see all of these hit the front page of Steam like they always do, guys. So keep up the amazing work, guys. Keep being awesome and have a lot of fun with the coaster contest, and I can't wait to see what you guys start submitting. So there you go, everybody. This is going to do it for this video. I hope you have a ton of fun with it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now.